Also Penn Station.
What the fuck are you
Or
talking
the
about,
original
Sam?
Penn Station in New York.
Have you ever
built
looked
that
into
too?
the conspiracies involving the World Fair of the Chicago World Fair? And
Yeah.
how so they basically said they built this World Fair
Right.
in 2 years, and if you ask actual architects, they would go, just the design would take 15 years, and to build it would take forever. And they said that they built it in 2 years and then knocked it all down. Bang, gone.
What did it look like?
It's like
cool.
the conspiracies of the World Fair. It looks like the Vatican.
So this is what they built, and then they knocked it all down?
They said they built all this in 2 years.
Whoa. They built that in 2 years?
That's what they said. And then they knocked it all down.
What? Okay, we're going to have to dive into this one. Because did they really knock it all down?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? This is in Chicago?
Yes.
So they built all this, and then they demolished it?
Yep.
What remains of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair today? So why did they do that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Because they're erasing history.
Why would they want to erase something they built?
And that's a whole different thing.
I feel like I'm providing a much needed service with your thought process on these things.
Thank you.
I think someone needs to go, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this World's Fair, I think this was the Tesla Edison one where they were about to AC DC power was a really big thing.
Right.
Look at that. They said they built that in 2 years, dude.
All the structures, the sculptures and everything?
Yeah.
How many people? Did they build all those buildings?
That's what they're saying.
So why would they knock those down? They knocked those down? Are those like sets, like when you go to Universal Studios and there's no building behind it?
Not that I know of, man.
Oh my God. Why don't you Google why they demolish?
I was hoping it would be in this thing.
Let's
It
just
said what
let's
remains.
just
They should
Google
talk about
that.
Or those
Let's
Tatarians.
Google, just if you could indulge me, please Google why did they demolish the Chicago World Fair? What do you think? What do you think it's going to say?
I'll tell you.
Some propaganda by them, right? They're gonna.
It's the erase history, bro.
But why would they want to erase
Timelines,
something that we
dog.
know about? But if we know that they did that, why would we want to erase
dude,
that?
because the Tatarians had very advanced technology, like giant organs that could heal you through sound. Have you ever heard of that?
Organs, like musical organs?
Yeah, like Phantom of the Opera
It would
shit.
heal you through sound?
Through sound. Free energy, that's a big part of it. Free energy.
Free energy.
Yeah,
What do you mean by free energy?
that they could harness energy.
Oh, like Tesla type,
Yeah.
like harness electricity through the air.
Yep.
You know, they had said that if he had done that, if Tesla had done that, it probably would have fucked the whole computer revolution.
For good or bad?
For bad, it wouldn't have worked. All the electricity in the air be frying all the devices. But then I would think, wouldn't they be able to make? Oh, so there was a fire.
Giant fire.
Convenient.
Oh yeah, convenient. Fire licked up a large part of the well, let's say they were experimenting with electricity for the first time, and it causes a massive fire. What a shocker!
Yeah, couldn't.
Well, don't you think maybe they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, Sam? For 3 hours, the flames raged along the past end of the court of honor until nothing was left but charred timbers and blackened plaster. A shower of sparks fell upon the ice in the lagoon until it looked like a sea of fire. They fell upon the adjacent buildings, threatening them with destruction. It was a magnificent spectacle that drew ceaseless exclamations of wonder and awe from the spectators that crowded the grounds in the vicinity of the fire. It was the greatest pyrotechnic display of the fair.
Interesting
So it caught
words.
fire. But hold on,
Interesting
Sam.
words.
But Sam, it caught fire. But the destruction did not end with the burning of these buildings. Firebrands were carried to the roof of the manufacturer's building, and the promenade around the crown of that enormous structure was soon on fire. The wind was strong, and the flames soon reached the immense wooden ventilators under the eaves. They were soon burning fiercely. The story under the roof was in a blaze. It sounded like a horrible fire, Sam.
Yeah.
But why would you think someone would start this on purpose?
To destroy it.
But would you think that it would be possible that the winds were really strong and an actual accidental fire that happens all the time broke out and it destroyed those buildings?
Well,
because they were experimenting with electricity for the first. Like, what caused the fires? Do they know what caused the fires? Did they have arson inspectors back then?
very interesting, dude, because, you know, you go through a lot of these big cities and you kind of see this weird kind of ancient architecture, and then it's surrounded by modern architecture, and it just, the two don't match at all. One is like very advanced, like stuff we don't see anymore, and now this new stuff, and it's just like it's really mind-blowing. And you see a lot of this stuff, especially when you go to the smaller cities. Like, they went around and got rid of a lot of the stuff in the bigger cities, and they didn't bother to deal with the smaller cities.
Listen to this. The Panama Pacific International Exposition proved so popular and profitable that long before its closing, proposals were made to save. Long before its closing, proposals were being made to save all or part of it. Architect Willis Polk, in particular, lobbied heavily for the preservation of the Palace of Fine Arts, the Palace of Horticulture, South and North Gardens, and the Avenue of Palms. Louis Christian Mulgart told the Commonwealth Club that when the exposition buildings are torn down, then will we have destroyed one of the greatest architectural units which has ever been created in the history of the world. The influential club, like many others, passed a resolution pleading for the preservation of as much of the fair as possible. Speculative forces proved far stronger than the dream, however, and the arches and towers were brought down in clouds of colored plaster, revealing their fall. The underlaying lath framework, the South Gardens were scrapped clean of paintings, fountains, and sculpture, and small buildings were moved to the waterfront and barged throughout the Bay Area. The North Gardens, Marina Green, and Yacht Harbor remained a gift of the exposition, along with the Column of Progress, with its adventurous bowmen at the end of South Street until the 1920s. It succumbed to automotive collisions and was pulled down.
This was the 1915 World Fair in San Francisco. A similar thing happened.
Will you do me a favor and go back to that and Google the adventurous bowman at the end of South Street? What is that? So that was the last thing that remained. What did that look like? See if you like images. So there it is.
It's a statue, yeah.
So it's a statue. And so too many people hit the guy with the bow and arrow, and that was the last thing remaining. Now, it sounds fucked that they would tear that stuff down, but, you know, I'm open to the idea that some idiot owned the land or someone wanted to do something else with it, and they decided to destroy it and build new shit there. You don't think so? Like, after a fire, you think that they would have decided to preserve it? What if preserving it would cost a shitload of money?
These were two separate events.
Two separate events.
The fires were in Chicago was pre-1900.
Oh, what is that?
This was 20 years later in the San Francisco World Fair.
That was what you were showing me right there? Oh, I thought it was the same World Fair.
Nope.
So there's two World Fairs that caught fire.
No.
One of them they just destroyed.
This one says they destroyed it.
For no reason.
We didn't get there yet.
So you think they did it because they want to hide history?
Yeah.
You're not even high. Is it possible? Tell me what you think of that.
Which one is this?
That's the one that's got caffeine. That's the Ignite.
Yeah, dude.
That's 150 milligrams of clean caffeine, baby. Spicy pineapple.
It's good, dude.
That's my shit, son. I helped design that one. It's my idea.
Okay,
so this remains.
Chicago.
That's pretty dope.
See, here's the thing,
building.
Joe. Like, you don't see anymore. It's like this weird architecture.
That's true.
Isn't surrounded by anything around it, and it's like. So what
do you mean it's not
so
surrounded
this gets
by anything
into this gets into something you talk about, like mud floods too. Like,
yeah, but this stuff is like happened during modern history. Like, they know about this. Like, they know who built it. Pretty amazing.
That's in San Francisco from
Okay, it's still there. So look at that. Scroll back down there. It says 9 amazing examples of World's Fair architecture that still stand today. And look how dope that looks. Go back to that picture again.
But they knocked down a lot.
I'm sure they did, but that's because people are assholes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a grand conspiracy to knock. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm looking at it and
I'll take that as a win.
Take it as well. Take that W, Sam.
The world is very interesting, brother. And
why would they try to hide their ability to create awesome structures?
Because if you're asking me, Joe, everything is about try not to let us know how special we really are.
Keep going back to that, but what do you? I don't know what you mean.
That we
by
are powerful beings.
And the way they do that is by knocking down that.
By not letting us know our history, by rewriting history, by flooding us with.
But who would do that?
Low frequency shit.
Well, I think we flood ourselves with low frequency
Right.
shit. I think that's the problem, is that we gravitate towards low frequency shit,
Right.
and low frequency shit becomes profitable. Right?
Well, it just becomes like before the internet, like we only had a few different kind of ways to get stuff.
Right.
And these people controlled all that, whether it was like, just think about all the stuff that people were able to get away with before the internet was here, and we could, like, people do their own research and stuff like that, and the control.
Catholic Church.
Like if dude, that's you look at the Vatican, that out of nowhere, it's like, what is that?
I went to the Vatican on an edible.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The stuff you must have seen and felt. And
yeah, because edible's a good thing to do because it lasts a long time. You know, that's a good. You smoke a joint, you're gonna be normal in 20 minutes. You don't want that. You want to be riding that cannabis wave for a while and soaking in the history of that place.
And what did you think while you were there?
It's wild. It's so much art. It's fucking insane. You want to go, where did you get all this?
Right.
How is this all yours?
Don't you want to get in that library? Just like, let me see what's in there,
God,
dude.
what do they have?
What is in there?
What do they have? Did you ever read The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross?
No, I haven't.
You need to read that.
I will.
It's a great book about this guy, John Marco Allegro, who deciphered the Dead Sea Scrolls. He was on the committee, like, for 14 years, worked in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and his conclusion was that the entire Bible was all a misunderstanding. It was really about psychedelic mushrooms and fertility cults. It's a wild book. Supposedly, the Catholic Church bought it up, but it's in print again now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love those dangerous books.
I got old copies of it. I got used copies of it from when it was first released. I have 2 copies of it.
Okay.
It's a fascinating book because if the guy was right, it's crazy. The thing about it is that there's, for sure, in a lot of ancient religious artwork, there's depictions of mushrooms. For sure.
Yeah.
And for sure, they thought that if they ate a mushroom and tripped balls, they probably thought they'd stumbled upon some gift from God, some magic, something that reaffirmed all of their beliefs in the world. Just like, you know, the people that thought witches were real, they did the LSD bread and they fucking tripped balls and killed all the witches. Right. Those people probably, when they were consuming mushrooms, they probably thought that God had given them this fucking amazing gift to communicate with him, and they had to hide that information in any way, shape, or form. And so they did it in stories, and they hid the meanings in allegories and in all these different. This was John Marco Allegro's belief, and that he broke down the word Christ. He traced it back to an ancient Sumerian word that meant a mushroom covered in God's semen.
Really?
And what they believed is that when it rained, you got to remember, infant mortality back then is very high.
Are we talking space bukkake right now?
Yeah, space bukkake, exactly. but God's space bukkake. But infant mortality back then was really high, right? So they wanted to make as many people as possible. Otherwise, it wouldn't be any people. Like, these people were actively practicing fertility rituals, and they were trying to get pregnant, and it was like a really important thing. So they had rituals they would do to try to get pregnant, and they also had this ancient use of psychedelic mushrooms. So when it rained, all of a sudden these mushrooms would appear. Like, you know what it's like when you go out in your yard and it was raining, and then you'll see mushrooms. Like, they weren't there yesterday. Well, they would go out and see these things, and then they would eat them. And they would trip their fucking balls off.
Yeah.
And it made sense that they thought that God had given this, like, that God came upon the earth, and that this mushroom would allow you to talk to God. And they would try to hide this shit from conquering armies. So they hid it in stories.
I believe all that. And I also think that, you know, the Vatican has a real interesting role in, like, the interpretation of the Bible and what the Bible represents, and how they try to make it, like, literal instead of, like, a spiritual thing. And, you know, I mean, if you kind of take a look at, like, St. Patty's Day, right? You ever study St. Patty's Day?
I never have.
And what it really is? It's
it?
So it's like, you know, St. Patty's Day is basically Patrick is sent into Ireland to rid the snakes. That is it, right? But the truth is, like, I don't think there's snakes in Ireland. And what they're actually talking about are pagans. And it's actually a story of genocide, dog.
Really?
Yeah. That's what St. Patty's Day is all about.
No.
Yeah, I think Ireland...
Maybe there used to be snakes.
I think it was
St. Patrick's Day was successful.
Yeah, he just got them all
Killed
out.
them all. Killed all snakes.
He's just going around killing like
Sorry,
gardener
these fucking
snakes.
snakes, man.
Yeah, I think it had to do with pagans. And pagan... So then you get into something called eagle versus serpent. Have you ever heard of that story?
No, but let's start with St. Patrick's Day and work our way to eagle versus serpent.
That's
That's interesting. Oh, Jamie's like, what about he can't follow this chaos?
No, I am. I like. Well, what do you want me to look up?
St. Patrick's Day was really about pagans.
What he said. Well, that part is not. That'd be harder to find out. But there were not snakes there.
Okay, it says, did St. Patrick really drive snakes out of Ireland? The stuff of legend. The reptiles never existed on the Emerald Isle. St. Patrick's Day. Oh, you son of a bitch! Enter your email to continue reading. You son of a bitch.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Trying to get us. It's your fucking mailing
It's
list.
too cold.
It's too cold.
For snakes.
Right. So maybe it was just like a way they had to explain why there's no snakes there.
Which gets into this thing called eagle versus serpent. And we'll get into it, but those are symbolisms, right? The eagle represents authority and power.
Oh.
That's why you see it on all these flags. The eagle represents, the serpent represents knowledge. And knowledge is power. And so, and ancient knowledge. So like when they talk about serpents, they're talking about pagans. And we have a negative connotation what pagan is in this country because we assume it's like witches and stuff like that. But
we assume it's kids with asshole stepdads.
Right, goth kids.
They're really into anime.
Right. Smoking cigarettes in high school, yelling about. Yeah. That's what they think. And it's not, man.
It's not.
It's about basically a cult.
Well, paganism was the existing religion that Christianity kind of incorporated, right? Didn't they incorporate a lot of their holidays coincided with pagan rituals?
Yes.
Like Jesus's birthday and all that stuff.
To bring people in.
Some modern pagans refuse to observe a day which honors the elimination of an old religion in favor of a new one and wear a snake symbol on St. Patrick's Day. The idea that St. Patrick physically drove the pagans from Ireland is inaccurate. What he did do was facilitate the spread of Christianity. Well,
that sounds like a very
euphemism.
A very cleaned up version of it.
Wow.
That sounds like somebody's PR person came in.
Does.
Well, now read this off.
That's not quite what we did. You know,
Killed, drove, same thing.
People have a distorted version of history, apparently. We were trying to spread Christianity, which is, of course, the real true word of God.
Right. And then
Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, was born in Britain, not Ireland, near the end of the 4th century. At age 16, he was kidnapped by Irish raiders and sold as a slave to a Celtic priest in Northern Ireland. Whoa! After toiling for 6 years as a shepherd, he escaped back to Britain. Yo. So it's a real person in the 4th century? Is that a real...
Yeah. Which now explains why he wanted to go back and whoop ass, right?
What? There were no snakes. Okay, we get that. So snake was... Okay. Leprechauns are likely based on Celtic figures. Leprechauns are based on mushrooms. And you can eat mushrooms and meet leprechauns.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what the elves are. I mean, everybody has their own version of it, but there's like little things that you meet when you do mushrooms.
No.
They must have had mushrooms. They had cattle.
They always
had moisture, right? They had a lot of moisture. So, like, I know Europe had mushrooms. A lot of Mexico has a lot of mushrooms. That's where Gordon Wasson, I think his name was, who first started writing about psychedelic mushrooms. I think it was in Life magazine. Gordon Wasson, Google that. And he was a guy that like sort of first started describing psychedelic mushroom effects in like modern publications. This is back before it was illegal. Mushrooms weren't even made illegal in America until 1970.
It was cocaine was for the longest time.
Yeah. Seeking the Magic Mushroom is a 1957 photo essay by amateur mycologist Robert Gordon Wasson, describing his experiences taking psilocybin mushrooms in 1955 during a Mazatec ritual in, how do you say that? Oaxaca, Mexico.
Oaxaca.
That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, that
Oaxaca.
is a great
It's
name.
a dope name.
You want to get weird in Oaxaca.
So he wrote it in the book, but didn't he do something in Life magazine? There was something that was in like a mainstream publication. Yeah, Life, that's it. Life series of great adventures by R. Gordon Wasson. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Interesting.
Mushrooms are life changers, man.
And I think that human beings have been eating them forever. And I think based on Brian Murarescu's work with that book, The Immortality Key, which I can't recommend enough. It's a wild book.
The Immortality Key.
Yeah, you would love it.
All right, I'll buy it.
It's wild.
I got 1,000 books to read. I have them all at home.
It's also based on very hard evidence. Like they have the vessels that these people drank wine out of, and they found ergot in these vessels. The Liberty Cap and the fly agaric, which is fly agaric is I think it's a type of Amanita muscaria mushroom, grow in Ireland and are both believed to produce visions of fairies and leprechauns. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Along with a variety of otherworld creatures associated with Ireland. Fairies and mushrooms have always been a big part of Irish culture and are deeply intertwined in culture. In fact, the Gaelic slang for fairies and mushrooms is the same word. I'll say that again. The Gaelic slang for fairies and mushrooms is the same word.
Whoa.
The word is pookies.
Pookies.
That's what we should do. Pookies. We're gonna do pookies. That's what we're gonna call it from now on.
Isn't that what they call like
That's what we're
meth
gonna call
pipes and crack pipes are pookies?
Do they?
Yeah, I think that's what they call
I don't
them.
know that.
See, that's what they
but
always
hold on, before
do.
we do that, we'll go to that. I promise. In Ireland, the trip one goes from magic mushrooms described as going away with the fairies, being off with the pixies. In pagan times, Imbas Forosnai were psychedelic poets. The poets spoke of eating the red flesh of a pig, dog, or cat, which is believed to be in reference to the fly agaric, because that mushroom is red with white. It looks like Santa Claus, which is another fucking conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The poets chewed on this red flesh of a pig before lying in a dark room to seek out inspiration. Yeah, bingo.
Yeah, dude.
We have a winner. They were tripper.
Yeah, you eat
trippers.
mushrooms, go into
Yeah.
some cave and just trip
It's all about
balls.
tripping. Yeah, everybody tripped. I think that was a giant part of most cultures until the power cultures eradicated it. And that's the story of the Immortality Key. Must be Southern California thing, but pookie means a tweak pipe. Oh, wow. They're also called crack pipes. Wow. Pookie. Wow, that's crazy.
Damn, dude.
That's crazy. It went from being something that allows you to connect with leprechauns to a crack pipe.
That's what they always do. They take it and they invert it, dude, all the time.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is crazy, dude.
Or there was like a dude named Pookie who was
Who
a fucking
just got
crackhead.
weird all the time.
He was such a crackhead. They named the pipe after
A
him.
legendary crackhead.
He was the best crackhead ever. He was the Cheech and Chong of crackheads.
I don't know in Austin if ma'am, this is how I know I'm old. Like I didn't do my drugs out in the public now. I mean, dude, you drive around, people smoking meth. I was walking. I like to walk around Hollywood and just look for danger, right? Like
Really?
it's yeah. I just so I could talk
Crime
about
fighter.
it.
Oh, that's right. You're a crime fighter.
Yeah, on my podcast, like so I could just talk about what I saw.
Really? So you go to bad places just to walk around?
Yeah, I'll walk around
Damn.
just to see what I could find.
You're a fucking investigative journalist.
Yeah, I am. I'm a Dick Joe comic investigative reporter. And dude, I was on Hollywood Boulevard one day, and like Hollywood Boulevard now is like straight out Taxi Driver, dude. It's the
wild.
same kind of. It's really not like gritty, dark energy,
Dangerous.
man. And you just walk around,
And there's still tourists.
and there's still tourists. So this is
Just wandering through the streets.
So the tourist company that's in charge of the Hollywood Tourist Board was bragging that Hollywood Boulevard was voted top 100 tourist spots to go to. But what they never told you, it was number 100 out of the 100 that they were.